It's such a beautiful event.
For some, a journey begins.
Supposed to finish in the top 3 every time the way I play poker.
Yeah.
Like I can dodge bullets, baby.
For others, it continues. The destination for all remains the same. That table, that bracelet, that cash. Main event day 1 and day 2 at the same time for the first time. Next. Indeed, the march continues from the Rio All-Suite Hotel and Casino. This is the 2021 main event day 2 ABD and 1F as well. We'll be popping in on the folks who are registering for day 1. Ryan Reese is here, 2013 main event champ. Nate Silver, founder of 538. He's had a strong World Series. And Justin Bonomo back at it after sitting off the tourney circuit for almost 2 years. There, a look inside the pavilion where the day 2 players are stacked up. I'm Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Jamie Kerstetter as we head right on to Lax Livingston, third in the main event a few years ago. Building a nice stack once again. No massage yet today, Jamie. Also here, Anthony Zeno, 2-time bracelet winner already this fall. Looking very comfortable as well. A lot of players came through those opening days as we take a look at the Caesars Casino and Sportsbook notable players. Livingston, over 340,000. Stephen Chidwick in the field. And you, Chris Moorman, in action. Kelly Minkin building her stack from the 41,000 or so we saw her on the secondary feature table on day 1. And you see our main table in the middle. Secondary table is going to be fun. We've got Maria Ho, Mike Matiso over there as well. A lot more people, a lot more energy today out there, Norman.
Yeah, well, you know, I love day 1A and I love day 1B and 1C and 1D and 1E. But when you take day 1F and put it with day 2 APD, I am over the moon stoked. I love it more than anything. I love it more than life itself.
We might need some paddles tomorrow, I think, for this man, Jamie. And we get over to our main feature table. We had so much fun with Texas Dolly a few days ago. We brought him back. He's got a stack. And see, sitting there with Captain Jack Sparrow. That's an interesting elbow-to-elbow dynamic as well. Jason Kuhn here. He was over the moon himself to be playing with Texas Dolly today. Raise it to 3,000.
We got Kina England as well, representing for Poker Power, a women's group that's trying to get 1 million women playing poker.
She's on your list, right, Norman?
Yes, she is an official sleeper pick member. Also playing today, Sarah Steffen, another Power Poker rep, and she's also, you know, kind of recommended. Sarah, great recommendation. They both have a stack.
And there he is, Scotter Clark from Marion, Iowa. Made it through to day 2. The blinds as we begin this day 2 action. In level number 3, 600, 1,200. Big blind Andy of 1,200. The stack sizes you see at the top of your screen are where the players started the hand. And then if they're in the hand, you can see their face and
I'm sorry,
cards.
Did you say the pirate is from Iowa?
He is.
What, you got a problem?
Are there any oceans in Iowa?
It's semi-landlocked. But yes, it's not that far from all the oceans, actually.
Anyway, as I was saying, you can see their active stack just below the photo of them in the hand. And action, as mentioned, picking up in level number 3, Ori Eshel from Israel, 2 minor World Series cashes, trying to make a big one today. And here is our feature table lineup. And I was curious if Scotter Clark was going to continue with the Captain Jack Sparrow. And you know, we had the problem with Superman a few years ago where he couldn't launder the outfit. This is a little different than the Superman outfit, but if he goes deep, I pity the folks sitting next to him.
I pity him every night trying to remove that eyeliner. That is a lot of eyeliner. I know, 1% of the people watching are women, but they understand.
Raise it to 2,500.
Ari, for show me at this table as well. There's
Pirates big one.
with a pair.
Calls.
I want the stuff. Oh my God. That's legal.
I can imagine Doyle's seen worse.
Nah, but still, at this point of
No, be careful.
Texas
It's pointing at
Dolly's poker life,
Yeah, don't point at Doyle.
it just seems to me to be cruel and unusual punishment to be sitting next to this
Safety first, boys.
faux Johnny Depp.
And no surprise, Scudder, Captain Sparrow, studied wildlife management in college. And he's living it right now.
Checks.
So you guys saw what happened to Baldwin.
So Rivera now has a nice card he can barrel through. Picks up a flush draw. Probably a little concerned when Clark calls, though, that he has an ace or a 3, and he can't fold. Sixes with the muck.
And that's the truck he was using to bet with the other day, and they stipulated only chips into the middle, please. He was
Oh,
loading
wow,
up the
I
dump
broke
truck
the
and
law.
pushing him through. What'd you do?
I put a starburst in the middle.
Oh.
Broke the law today.
Well, that's different. He was using it as back and forth. Take a look at the Solve for Why tournament summary. 4,122 advanced from days 1A through 1E.
I think when they were practicing, they put
Day 1F playing simultaneously. They'll play tomorrow with a couple of the other day ones. Brunson, Hashem, Blumstein. Hashem and Blumstein played on our feature table yesterday. And the final tape is coming up in a week.
Coffee fresh.
Lijo folds.
Oh, excuse me.
Rory Eschel with pocket nines, as they have been playing, as mentioned, for 4 hours today. This is level 3 of their day. So they're familiar somewhat with each other. Not quite as bubbly yet as the 2 feature tables we had yesterday. But when you've got the powerful Jason Kuhn and Doyle Brunson and Captain Jack Sparrow here, I guess they tend to temper things.
Jason Kuhn just talking the other day about what a thrill it was when he got to play with Doyle Brunson, once in a lifetime experience. And then bang, bang, what are the chances? He gets him in the main event on day 2 for another thrill.
50-50.
Sounds like a twice in a lifetime experience.
We have 2 math experts here now.
9's still good for Eschel, but Kuhn picks up the nut flush draw.
That's 3,500.
A lot of big names in the field playing their day 1 inside the Amazon. The day 2s are out at Pavilion in Brasilia.
Call.
We're going to focus mostly on the day 2s and hunt and peck around on the day 1 folks that you are familiar with. A lot of international players out there. Nice run out for Kuhn so far.
Checks.
Eschel, the pre-flop raiser, can have bigger aces in his range. Kuhn has to think about that a little bit, but his hand's just too good with the nut flush draw to go with it.
That's 10,000.
Annoying spot for 9s, extra annoying when you're out of position against Jason Kuhn, who has a big stack and can continue firing.
Kuhn with the best of it. Didn't need the run out to the flush, got the ace on the turn. Jason Kuhn now up to almost 160,000. Everyone started their day 1 with 60,000. Jason Kuhn, sprint to poker fame. Yeah, out of West Virginia. And yeah, he was a sprinter. Track star in high school, tried to make it in college. Big online crusher And he has just been on a great run the last few years, and not culminating, but finally winning his first bracelet this year.
26.
For some players, it's just an afterthought. Oh, he'll get one. You just, you know, he's been playing such high rollers and everything and crushing those for so long that it seemed inevitable he'd eventually win a bracelet or more.
He was excited. And we've seen the footage of him when finally it was locked in, and he was so happy, yelling, "Get this monkey off my back." 53-year-old from Sefner, Florida, real estate agent and investor is Lee Joe, in there with 10-6 of the big blind. Two ladies at this table, squaring off, 7-5 deuce. King high good.
Check. That's 2,100.
You don't try to influence play in your sleeper picks at all, do you, by sending messages or notes or?
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
But I'm happy that, you know, Kinda England and Sarah Steffen, both first-time, first main eventers, so excited to be here, and they know what they're doing. So I think I got a couple of good sleeper picks. I added a sleeper pick yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and
Did you?
for Janice Kurtzenstein, whatever. It was a bad selection, and she's out.
Oh, okay.
Norm actually does try to influence by sending advice, and that's why I'm out.
Oh, wow, really? Yeah. So we were going to get to it. Jamie busted out today of her day 2.
65.
Standard. 9s to ace king. And
Commiserations.
now I'm in here to give the saltiest commentary you've ever heard.
I'm ready. We are ready.
They always say the worst day of a poker player's life is of the year is getting knocked out in the main event, and now you have to come in here.
With you. Yeah, this is like,
That trumps it all, right? Fourth member of our broadcast group out on the floor, Jeff Platt. He did speak with Jason Kuhn during the break.
Well, Jason, last time we talked, I asked you what it was like to have Doyle in the building. Now I get to ask you, what's it like to have Doyle at your table in the main?
So random, man. I checked my table draw and I was like, no way. That's so cool. It's been fun. We've had a little banter today. It's amazing to get to finally be here and sit down with the guy. Like I said, I played some cash with him, but I don't think I've ever got to play with him in a tournament. So it's to get to play the biggest one with him is pretty amazing.
And I know you've worked so hard on your game throughout the years, but in this tournament specifically, how do you balance that GTO line with that exploit line against some opponents?
Well, the first 10 years of my career, I was just trying to trick people, you know. So I think I've played in these qualities of fields more than I've played in the super high rollers, and it's something that it's always fun because you have to make extreme deviations at times. But overall, I feel very comfortable, and I'm having a good time.
We'll send you out there. Thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Man.
Jason Kuhn much more comfortable in those high rollers where he has racked up a lot of 7-figure scores. Not as comfortable in these massive fields, but he knows what he's doing.
Victor Chrysostimo from Encino, California, 68-year-old. Raises it up with pocket 4s. Kira with position and ace queen comes along. Jason with the 9s this time. Doyle. Pocket pair as well on the button.
You know, the more pocket pairs you see in a hand, increase the chances that other people will have pocket pairs in that same hand. It is true. Don't argue with me. It's a math thing.
What are the odds that so many people have pocket pairs?
All of them.
Okay. We're not going to the 50-50 thing right now. I'm just saying, by the way.
It's hard to make a pair.
No, but I'll explain it later.
Okay.
All the way down.
Well, if Kira England makes a pair, she's going to be very happy.
We're not talking about that. Yes, she will. She'll take the lead.
I moved on. No pair.
Kuhn probably wants to bet this. His hand is very vulnerable to overcards on the turn and river. Probably is the best hand right now. Doyle with 7s probably wants to stick around though. It's a little tough to be in the spot with 2 people behind you to act. You hate to stick in the 4,000 and then get check raised by someone like Chrysostimo or England.
He really wants to be in the pot.
Yeah, he didn't come here to
He
fold.
wants to stay.
Wise lay down.
That's his 4,257,000.
Wise lay down?
Wise
Yes.
lay down.
And kind of ends up giving it up. She had the option to 3-bet pre, which probably would be slightly better than flatting.
So let's say we have a 4-card deck. 7, 7, 9, 9. Okay? If you're dealt a 7 and a 9, then I'm dealt a 7 and a 9. If you're dealt a 7 and a 7, that increases the chances I'm going to get 9s. Correct?
With a 4-card deck?
Yeah, but this goes for the whole deck.
That's how many cards Norm's playing with.
Okay. That's so far below the belt.
Building a stack of over 600,000. Boy, out of the blocks quickly, and he just keeps on going.
If there's 26 people and they all get 2 cards, if 25 people all get dealt a pocket pair, the 26th person has to be dealt a pocket pair. So you understand, if 20 people are dealt pocket pairs, it increases the chances that the rest of the cards are going to be pocket pairs for people. It's that simple. Let's move on to the secondary table.
I was just going to say, I don't think anyone argued with you when you made the point the first time.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Benjamin Chalot raised. Mike Matasso made the call. Chalot bet the flop. Matasso came along. Mike Matasso flopping the best of it. Chalot from Budapest cashed in the 2017 main event.
So with just the gutter ball, it doesn't get a backdoor diamond on the turn. Probably done with the hand.
At 11,000.
I want the scarf. Sorry, saying. See Maria Ho's stack under 30,000. She began the day over 80,000.
Mike, is that green you have under your stack?
Yeah, I'll put it on top, sorry.
No etiquette. What a dick this guy. First time?
Over 4 million in World Series earnings for Mike the Mouth.
He was happy to go home day one, unhappy to go home at the end because he lost a good deal of his stack on a very tough hand at the end of the night. Couldn't wait to get out of here.
This is what you say you would have known if you'd have left
From
him open.
LA. He is part of the World Series lore. He is definitely woven into the fabric on his 4th bracelet in 2013. Yep, got a podcast, playing tournaments, complaining on Twitter. That's what he does. But not unlike everyone else on Twitter. Mike just seems to have a way. I'd like to welcome our viewers on YouTube right now who are enjoying a free 1-hour preview of our continuing coverage of the 2021 World Series main event. Join us on PokerGo.com right now using the promo code DAY2A for $20 off an annual plan and get the remainder of the 2021 World Series as well as full coverage of the 2022 World Series all in one deal.
For all the complaining Matasso does on Twitter and, you know, he rough around the edges, he really put together an amazing tribute to Mike Sexton. That was, I couldn't believe it. Did you guys watch that on YouTube? He had a bunch of guests.
Yes, it was for several hours, and he got that together in a hurry, and we got a lot of great memories of Mike Sexton when Mike passed away last year. He actually did a similar thing when Lane Flack passed away earlier this year.
Mike the Mouth Matasso. Love him or hate him, you can't not think about him when you talk about the World Series of Poker.
And Mike's a lightning rod for criticism on his poker play. He plays, often does his vlogs or has live streamed his online play, and people are just in the chat box, which is the cruelest place in America, just telling him on his own stream how bad he's playing. You know, he's had some pretty good World Series results both online and live last year and this year, so I don't think he's lost all of his fastball, curveball, or slider.
I'm not taking them up on it. It's just entertaining to me.
Orestes Kanakopoulos from
I would
Athens,
say that I don't
Greece.
think I've been disrespectful
With
for
the
one roll. I'm
raise.
just going to poke the bear a little.
And it will take the pot. 8 World Series cashes.
I keep telling myself it's the main event. Don't vote.
Mike talking to John Morgan, well-known
It's the only tournament.
poker presence here in Las Vegas.
Not this, not later on when you get a lot of chips.
Big fan of John Morgan. I've played with him in $600 Venetian events the day after he plays a 25K buy-in at PokerGo. It's amazing. He just loves poker. Like, he tries just as hard in each.
Level 8, we're playing 6 and 1200 with a big blind ante of 1200.
Flip that over. I think like I saw it. Like a, yeah, I thought it was a 3 or 4 of hearts.
That's his. 4 of hearts.
I thought it was a 3 or 4 of hearts, but I wasn't sure. I saw a 2-spotter heart.
Good eye.
4 kills my hand.
Telling the truth, 4 kills my hand.
Albert Ng for the Bay Area, Cupertino,
Raise
California.
25.
With pocket pair.
Never forget, 2007, the feature table, day 1. I was running terrible.
Maria with a
Wasn't
playable
playing my
hand
best,
on the
running
button.
bad. And guy deals me an ace, it hits my hand, flips over. And then the other card was an ace.
She's got a shovelable hand and a shovelable stack.
Yeah, I've been playing bad running bad.
Call.
Yeah.
Opts to see a flop if she can. And Benjamin Chalot acting like he's got a hand. King 7, though, goes into the muck.
Pretty funny, actually.
You'll see a lot of pros in the main specifically playing a little more conservatively and really hanging on tightly to their last chips.
Heads up.
Tables seem to be a little bit more ref heavy, so you don't really want to take any big risk if you can avoid it. She's in position
10.
and out flopping.
Yep.
So.
By the way, while Maria is in position and out flopping, Ng, Mike the Mouth was recalling a hand from 14 years ago. Day 1 feature table that might have changed his life if the ace did not flip up. Because he would have had pocket aces apparently, and the butterfly effect of that, I don't know what it is, but he might be king of Sweden now if he was allowed to play those pocket aces.
If you think like that, you can drive yourself really insane. Like, super insane. I defended a hand today from the big blind that was like pretty cuspy, and then the next hand busted in that flip. I'm like, oh, if I didn't defend, the cards are in a different order. And I'm like, let's just make ourselves insane.
Did you show up on time today?
I did. You can't be late when you have 18 big blinds. I'm not that rich.
I should have won the fucking
Maybe you can.
He was raising my button. Raise, let's fold.
Ng has 10 World Series cashes to his credit.
Setting up an image, he can run me over. Raise, move all in. Raise, move all in. Raise, move all in.
15 back.
I got about 2.5 million. Got about 7.5 million. He raised. I call 7, 8 of clubs. Flop comes 5, 6 of clubs.
Flop was good for Maria Ho. The turn is even better, giving her nut spade draw.
It's a good board for her to get value out of pocket eights as well. It still isn't that scary for eights. You know, when you check to Maria that she's going to be betting quite often, just trying to take the pot down. She doesn't necessarily have to have a hand as good as she has.
Flipped over to 7, 8 of clubs. He had 2 queens, and he held. I'm just saying, if I win that hand, we're dead even in chips. And then now it's game on.
Just thinking of what kind of sizing she can make this to get all the chips in by the end. She goes for a check instead, maybe
You really believe I put all my chips in and couldn't beat?
thinking that pocket pairs that she's beating are not going to go for 3 streets. They're going to pay off only 2.
We watched Maria at the main feature table a few days ago. Very deliberate with her actions. As you mentioned, with the main event barely getting underway, and the rec players' caution comes into every decision.
Ng here can either check or bet really small get a little bit of value out of worse pairs than his, and also make it so he bets 4,000, 5,000. When he gets raised, he knows he can comfortably fold. Goes for a check instead.
Maria's not checking.
Nope. Misses some value on the river there, and potentially on the turn as well.
Well,
Chips
I
are
know
coming her way.
you have a feud that you've begun with her, or whatever it is.
Oh, my feud. I forgot about it.
So I think
She missed it.
it's a legitimate feud.
Oh, yesterday I said I was going to start a feud.
She's a alleged poker pro and alleged TV commentator, and I'm with Jamie on this one.
On her GPI THM bio, UC San Diego grad. And, also our cohort and the other half of the Jamie Maria feud.
I mean, people are starting all these heads-up battles in feuds. Should I just start one?
Yeah.
All right. Super, man.
I mean, you're in the mood for it, right?
Can't stand her.
You
with
are
her
in the
pretty
mood for
hair
it.
and her
Just
chips
direct
still in the mane.
And her nails. Come on.
Yes.
I played with her the other day somewhere, and she had to leave early, and 5 minutes of talk about her nails ensued in her wake.
It's pretty cool. I can't be trusted with nails that sharp.
I would.
Putting contacts in and stuff,
also?
I'd be blind.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Geez.
Well, another one of my sleeper picks, Chris Reed. From the Atlanta area. WPA advocate. Informs me today that you have stayed in her home.
That is a true fact.
Okie dokie, that's interesting.
She was not there.
She was not there?
She was not there.
So it was a B&E?
No, her husband was there. I was on the way from New Orleans north to potentially play in some circuit events up north and on my way into Canada.
Oh, my
and
card's back.
knowing Chris, she offered the house.
That's good.
Okay, so if there was any, and I'm not saying there were, if there was any extramarital activity, it was with her husband.
Correct.
Okay. He is so easy to break down. I mean, I have no prosecuting history, but this is really easy.
No, I played with Chris several times.
Give him.
Played on the U.S. team in the U.S. versus Ireland Irish Poker Open tournament.
You were the best we could produce from the U.S.? That is mad.
There weren't many of us. There weren't many of us.
Raise the 3,000.
How did that come up?
She actually brought it up when I spoke to
Well,
her
I
briefly
figured
today.
she would bring it up because you
I didn't know about it.
I think Norm's first question to each person he talks to is, have you
ever had Lon
stayed at your
stay
house?
over at your house?
Yeah. And finally, it's been like 15 years, finally, one person's like, yeah.
Not many of them out there.
Sure.
Off.
Nice play.
So, and Morgan.
Morgan defending pretty loosely from the big blind for 2.5x. Jack 5 off is not going to do very well, especially versus an under the gun raise.
A pretty good flop for two fucking black nines. Unless somebody has an 8.
Wasn't very good for
I'm
Jack
not sure
5.
Mike ever has a good day.
No, that wasn't good for Jack 5.
Even when he's stacking chips. I'm not sure. All right, let's get it back to Jeff Platt. He is with Maria Konnikova.
I don't think the dealer would let me for 10.
Yeah, if you don't got to convince
All right, guys, we are out here in the pavilion room, and let us check on New York Times best-selling author. It is Maria Konnikova. Maria, I'm going to see you for one quick sec. I'll just make sure you don't miss a hand, okay? Your first main since The Biggest Bluff was released.
Yeah.
That book culminates with you playing in this tournament. What is it about this tournament that you found made it so special?
Honestly, I think everyone feels that the main is special, and there's something about this particular tournament. You know, I've played, it's not the biggest buy-in I played. Sure. If you remember, when I won the PCA National, I got a platinum pass to the 25K, which was pretty incredible, but it's still not like the main event. You know, the main event is just like your chance at glory, right?
I'm just going to send you back to the action right now. Go crush it on day 2. Thanks for the time.
I will do my best. Thanks, Jeff.
All right,
Take care.
I'm pretty sure, Lon, you've actually stayed in her home as well, because either you taught her to mention any recent poker success, or she taught you. She just dropped that in. You remember when I won the PCA FKR 2-3?
Like a 20-second interview and just went boom.
Ace.
Texas Dolly, black and white photo. Big banner.
I just didn't think I was going to have to look at the pavilion on this broadcast, you know? I just have
Your ashes
PTSD,
are out there, aren't they?
Yes.
3 players.
Koshumi boating up, but not much out there for anyone else. This pot got inflated though. 30K in the middle already. Let's see what happened. That was an original Doyle Brunson raise.
19,000?
That's 19,000.
It's pretty frustrating when the most beautiful card in the deck comes for you, pairing the board, giving you a boat. It's a straight card. It's a flush card. And no one has anything. You think this is gin, I'm going to get paid here. 2 opponents just completely empty.
So, from Delray Beach, Florida, Ari Koshumi takes the pot against Doyle Brunson. 1 for the diary. All in a call over here. And it's Ing all in with aces, Shallow with kings. We've seen this several times today, actually.
15 years.
Paint, but it's 2 jacks.
There's your jacks.
Got a heart.
There's those jacks. They're everywhere.
Ing, the one at risk, as you can see. Shallow looking for another king.
There it is.
Oh.
Wow. Now more outs.
Never easy.
Ing saying nothing is easy. Waits for the river card. Pairing the board.
Why make it so hard?
I know. It's never easy, bro.
I know.
You don't think it's going to come an offsuit deuce on the turn, do you? You knew for sure a heart was coming, right?
God damn it.
For sure a heart was coming on the turn. That was like a...
You can never just flop quads and have it be done with.
Dude, like even in the limit hold.
Is there an advertisement somewhere saying poker is easy, come play? No.
I have kings. I'm up against 2 people with ace king. Comes queen 7, 3 of spades, 1 has ace king, king.
Also, if you want it to be easy, you could just close your eyes. Just open them when the board's out.
When the board's out. Well, then you got to make everybody be quiet, and you know, it just doesn't work that way. We would like to give a very special welcome to all the viewers watching our free 1-hour preview on YouTube. If you want more incredible poker action, become a PokerGo.com subscriber now. A new annual subscription gets you the remainder of this 2021 World Series and our full 2022 World Series coverage. All seasons of high-stakes poker and much more. Sign up now. Use the promo code DAY2A for $20 off a new annual subscription.
And my boyfriends. There's so many great, not good, but great sushi restaurants. So many. Like Happy Sushi in Japan is like ultimate, you know?
It was.
Yeah. How long are you here for?
After like 20 days from here.
All right, we're just
poker,
kidding.
vacation, or both?
You don't want to be in trouble.
Yeah, actually, they're across the
Yeah, we're just doing a sitcom.
Go to the casino now.
You know what they say? Happy wife.
Happy life. Very smart
Koshumi
man.
folded to him on the button. He's going to raise it up.
2,800.
A couple of picture cards.
You did good.
Disgusted fold from Texas Dolly, who had a much bigger stack to start the day. Doyle was in a little better mood when Jeff Platt caught up with him just before our coverage began. Let's hear what Texas Dolly had to say.
Well, Doyle, I would say the most relevant question at the moment is, how is day 2 treating you?
Well, I got off to a very bad start. I lost 60,000 on the first hand.
Wow.
Overplayed 2 queens, I think. But at that point, I didn't really know. And the guy had a $25,000 chip in his stack that I didn't know he had. So I lost like 60,000 that hand. And I've been chopping around ever since.
Okay, chipping up a little bit. How prepared are you for what could be a pretty long tournament grind?
Well, that's hard to say. I always had good stamina, but, you know, I don't know, I just have to wait and see.
And finally, Doyle, I know Jason Koon is at your table. What have you seen in his game that makes him such a tough player?
Well, you're right. You're aware of him at all times. And he opens a lot of pots, and he held a lot of hands, too. But he's a great player.
Thank you for the time. Good luck today.
Yeah, thank you.
Doyle, a couple of years ago on Twitter, was tweeted out that he keeps getting questions about his biggest regrets. And he said that his 3 biggest regrets, he said, first, my love of sports and the God-given talent I had crashed when I broke my leg at 20 years of age. Second, the time I spent away from my family as a young traveling pro. And third, he said, the many, many bad things I did as a young man. And that's what we want to know more about.
The sport injury was extremely devastating. I had never heard the whole story before. He's gotten interviewed recently for a couple of things that are going on. He was doing something with sheetrock, which landed and crushed his leg.
It's
he was
incredible.
working for the company, the gypsum.
And he had been drafted. He was going to be a pro basketball player.
A Laker when they were actually in Lake Country.
Minneapolis.
Here you see it, 88 Poker Hall of Famer. And that's just the start of the accolades.
It's one of those crazy things, though. You don't know if it was good luck or bad luck to get that injury. Maybe he would have been, maybe he's had a better life being this like amazing poker icon than he would have had if he was just an athlete for a few years.
England with aces. Didn't she get a customer?
Go to Florida, visit my family in Boston, and then head to London. It's only like a 5-hour flight to Boston.
Burn that one, burn this one, dealer. Dealer is Chris Williams from Lakeland, Florida.
Calls 2600.
Dealing the aces to Kinda, England. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Kind of happy to get some action. A little scary to get it from the Jack-10 suited.
Until now. But still,
got
there's some trouble there. Yeah, absolutely. Diamonds and, well, should we seal it? Straighty flushy board? I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
straighty flushy board.
I don't know. We're going to get letters.
Bottom pair and a gutter ball. Just enough.
Lee Joe looking for some more help here.
Yes.
Should be a bit of an action killer for both players. Kind of thinking, it's the worst card in the deck. There are worse, though.
Yes.
Both players probably dying to show down at this point. Going for
something.
55.
That's 5,500.
Like her style, going for a little bit of value. It's tough. Everyone sees the four card straight out there and 3 flush. See how sticky Joe's gonna get.
You saw Doyle trying to put her on a hand as well. As mentioned before, he's always looking, always observing. Could probably tell you Jason Koon's VPIP if you asked him. And there is a fold, and Kinda doesn't have to show. Enticed to show
Are
one.
they playing show one card? That'd be fun. Kind is having an amazing year. She kind of came out of nowhere. 555K of her 575K in earnings all came in 2021.
Wow.
She got third
Would you
in.
call that a sleeper?
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. She came out of nowhere, but she got third in the WPT Venetian this year. That was the first I heard of her, and then she's made runs ever since.
Everybody's a backseat sleeper driver. Come on.
We're all on your bus, Norman. Don't worry. You're driving us wherever you want to take us.
The wheels are coming off.
Raise 2,400.
Doyle gets it folded to him, raises it up. This will not give him the pot immediately. Or Eshel, 41-year-old with jacks.
Eshel cutting out a 3-bet.
Raise 6,500.
Doyle gets the information he was looking for.
You should go to somebody else. I'm superstitious.
I like 3-betting hands like jacks, 10s, 9s. When you're out of position, they hold most of their value pre-flop. Don't mind racing with them, but once you're seeing a flop out of position, you're facing an overcard a good majority of the time.
14 royal flushes first.
Maybe I'll get my first one today.
This is never not going to be funny either.
I had a lot more royals than 14, for sure I did.
No, live. Not
live, no.
Well, I have 2 card royals. Those are the only ones that count, I think. Did you ever win a bad
No,
meeting?
no, 1 card.
Eshel will take it with the jacks against Doyle Brunson. You can only do that so many times.
See, jacks win sometimes.
And they do sometimes. They didn't see a flop. As mentioned, a lot of big names in the field today. Jeff Platt is with another one.
All right, now we have spotted the 2014 World Series of Poker main event champion. That would be Martin Jacobson. Martin, stand up real quick. I'll just work in 2 super quick questions. What's it like to walk in this room on day 2, knowing that that's such a long grind, at least hopefully, lies ahead?
Yeah, it's great. You know, always a good feeling. The main event's the one everyone's excited for, not me at least.
What have you been up to over this last year or so? We just saw you pop up here in Vegas.
Yeah, so lately I've been designing my own poker course. Yeah, preparing for them. And so yeah, the last couple of months I've been busy doing that.
Plays under the gun hand real quick. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I've been basically designing the content and building it out before I got here for the last couple of months.
And would you say coaching helps you become a better player?
Definitely, yeah, and it's something I realized how important it is to coach and think about the game from like a different perspective. It really helps as developing as like your own game.
Great to see you again. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
So according to Jeff and Martin, if I start coaching, I automatically become a better player.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you should put that out there. Couch Poker or something like that. I mean, you got a brand. Into the pavilion from the shopping area. Where were you seated? Okay, so we look at some of the notables here on day ABD. Ben Yu.
Future Hall of Famer, Ben Yu.
Yeah, our good buddy Jesse Sylvia. We broadcast with him from time to time.
Future nice guy, Jess Sylvia.
Adrian Mateos. Scary. You do not want to see that staring across from you on day 2. Sam Soverel. I like this. They put it up with no names. It's like a quiz. We got Stevie, the Stevie stare.
Oh, there's another Stevie.
Chidwick, yes.
No, oh,
Come
this
on,
I don't know.
this is way too hard.
This is ridiculous.
Jerry Yang.
Okay, but you see 1 inch of his face. Are we
That's
sure?
Jerry. Everybody knows
All right.
it's Jerry.
There we go.
Well, now we know it's Jerry.
That was pretty good. You were playing that one on hard mode. We saw 1 inch of his face.
I see Jerry in my territory, too. Folks who are back at the Rio, who have been there, done that, banner on the wall. Blumstein, Brunson, Ensign, Hashem, Helmy, Jacobson, Moneymakers in the field today. Quinn, Dan, Jerry Reese, Ryan Reese, Tom
Reese.
McAvoy, Jerry Yang. There we go.
Well, glad we're back in Amazon. I'm with Jamie. The pavilion You know when you're flying, you know, like JFK or O'Hare, you hate going to those airports. It's just too much activity. It's too big. It's nothing good happens. LaGuardia, nothing good happens. Nothing good happens in Pavilion.
I agree with that.
You can win Lammers in Pavilion.
True. Mario is taking Mattis out to Value Town right now. He can feel it. But I still feel like these chips are going in the middle. We didn't even see the beginning of this hand. There's a missed spade draw on board. I feel like that's enough for Mattis to just get involved.
Yeah, it's been a lot of business here, and Mattis's been driving it.
Good fold.
Seems to be the thing to say. Good fold.
But it's I've seen him make a lot of good folds during this World Series.
I would have been counterfeit on that hand. The ace 3.
A lot of people would not fold their hand.
No,
so
for sure they wouldn't have.
I wish I had my hand against someone else.
Stroking the Mattis ego. Good thing to do at the table.
I don't think so. I don't know if my ace 3 was good at any point.
Ace roll.
That's it.
An ace, right?
I had ace 3.
Yeah. I think they're ace.
I don't think so.
Until 2 4s came. And then it would have been a kicker problem.
Well, yeah. I'm still not sure if it was good.
Nick and Ali would have just killed me if I would have just open folded that hand. I had to raise.
Probably had his jack, ace
Could be.
25. You hear announcements in the background, and just an unusual and unique nightmare possibility for the staff here, who are dealing with so many day 1 players and day 2 players at the same time. The day 1 players who began today started an hour later than our day 2 players. So everyone's got to be on their toes today in all rooms.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the staff here because they do.
Okay, so why don't you just go ahead?
I think you're telling me to stop speaking. And they do a great job here, but I remember the Woodstock staff back in August of 1969. That was, I mean, that was outdoors.
Well, it can't rain here.
You've got climate situation. You had a parking situation. You've got a lot of people who are on substances situation. That staff did an unbelievable job getting that thing from start to finish.
And then the people of Woodstock, too, who, you know, helped out all the kids who were there. Amazingly given.
What's Woodstock? I'm so young, I just don't.
Yeah, it's a type of bourbon that we drink.
Oh, okay.
Reg players Academy Award.
I swapped for Duncan. Jim Duncan from Fishers, Indiana, owns a Dairy Queen. I want that dip. I want the chocolate dip.
Yeah, but I have problems with. I love Dairy Queen. I like it, but a lot of DQs do not serve chocolate soft serve, or they're out of it. It's just a vanilla soft serve. They got to have both.
Stopped that a few years ago too, in sanitary reasons, but then it came back for a while.
On one of my drives here, because I miss Eddie World, and so I stopped in Baker, California, where the world's largest thermometer, and they had a DQ there, and I went in to get a soft serve like 2 weeks ago, and they only had vanilla. And plus, it was, you know, it was Baker prices. It was like a small soft serve for like $4.50. Huh.
Vanilla is the best flavor, though.
Oh, it's
when
good.
People say vanilla is as like a boring thing,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
But I wanted to swirl. I wanted the vanilla chocolate swirl. I like vanilla too.
Life's really hard, you know. Sometimes.
You're going to tell me life's really hard?
Top stack out there is Albert Ing. Just had the aces. John Morgan in second place. Mattiso in fourth. Maria Ho up to 43,000 after she had lost a whole bunch of her stack. Now back to half of what it was to start the day.
Just one orbit ago, we saw Morgan fold ace-5 of clubs under the gun. I was like, this isn't the John Morgan I know. But he's back to it. He's not much of a folder. He came here to play.
Call 35.
Duncan again. Looking down at connectors. Also works in the medical equipment business, which I'm assuming allows him to afford the main event, not really the DQ business right now.
10-9 off. Pretty light flat. Maybe it's his favorite hand or something. I don't know.
Could be.
3 players.
One pocket pair. Trying to hold up. Nope.
I turned my phone off. I don't know.
All black.
Turn back on.
We've seen Eng run into this spot a couple times already. Rhea is a hand that needs protection from future cards, but is already dominated.
At 4,000.
My phone turns on here. Hold on. I'll let you text Phil.
No.
Call 4,000.
Duncan's going to come along. Morgan was the original raiser to 3,500.
2 players.
He gets out of the way.
7 of clubs looks mighty nice. It wasn't clubs. It was the red one.
Eng improves a little bit. Still not good enough.
He improves just enough to get in a little bit of trouble.
6,000.
From Eng, I'm happy to check call this, knowing that my opponent has a lot of draws in his hand that I'm currently beating. We also have the gutter ball. Opportunity on the river.
We only spent like 5 hours, but at like 12K.
Call.
And then the last.
One thing you just saved me is my ace or 5.
Check.
Check. 45 minutes.
Check. 9. So we'll take it.
It's pretty unlucky for Eng that 10-9 off was in that pot at all.
All right, back over to featured table. Cards are up, and Victor Chrysostomo looking for help with his king 9. He did flop the 9.
In this business.
Kind of England. The ace 7. You see her outs up top to get rid of one player here.
Now.
She 3-bet this pre-flop and got called.
Swap and like trade
Brutal.
in the old days, or no? Was there a lot of like you like?
There's the double up.
Those are the types of hands you think your 3-bet would fold out.
13 stuff. I mean, I'm sorry, 13
Was he put like backers or like?
Criostamo,
Like
an accountant, and he has been the accountant for more than 40 years for one Al Michaels.
Oh, wow. Interesting. There's my buddy, Andy Talbot. Suffering from ALS. They just diagnosed him a few months ago, up to 190,000. He really grinded it out on day 1 to get to 70 plus. And then the next day, on his day off, he and Melanie did the chopper into the Grand Canyon and got married. Had a nice dinner at Caesars with a bunch of friends last night. And then he turned right around, checked with him today. And he wrote out on his little computer, he says, I'm feeling strong. He's up to 190,000. Very nice, Andy. Keep it going. Special welcome goes out to the viewers watching our free 1-hour preview stream on YouTube. That will be ending soon. Thanks for tuning in. To continue watching, head over to PokerGo.com. Become a subscriber. A new annual subscription gets you the remainder of this 2021 World Series and all of our live coverage from 2022. Use the promo code DAY2A for $20 off a new annual subscription.
The last one he played. The last one he played.
Like he won the last one he played.
I thought he won 98. Did he win in 98?
I don't know what year it was, but Billy put him in.
I forgot where I read it. In the very
Raise 27.
It's like they're gonna play.
They are talking about Stu Unger, who won his last World Series of Poker main event that he played in 1998, 17 years after he'd gone back-to-back with titles.
Talk about playing in the elements. That was the outdoor one, right?
That was the one on Fremont Street.
No. He was up. Flamingo was up.
Wasn't Flamingo the first one in Vegas?
Yeah. First time you say
That's
Flamingo?
pretty cool.
The first
There was a.
It was not.
It was not
110
pretty cool.
degrees.
Oh wow.
Casino hotel.
But yes, it was neat.
O'Shea's had the 50-cent $1 game that would spill out into the street. People would sit down for 20 minutes and play, and then get up and continue drinking.
Didn't they get rid of
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Jason Kuhn looking for help.
Bet 35.
Originally from
Doyle,
West
I know I'm speaking
Virginia.
for the masses, but I appreciate all you've done for us. Guys like me getting to make a living playing poker, it's because of you.
Absolutely. Fold. Thank
Very
you.
true.
Fanboy
I say
in
that
progress.
then Watch this, Doyle. Thanks for teaching me this one.
That's nice of Jason.
Yeah, I'll second that for sure.
Just verbalize what everybody's thinking.
I mean, God bless him, too. 88 years old. So good.
Unbelievable.
God bless him. It's definitely a bucket list for me. I've never played it before. It's my first time playing with it.
Do you envision yourself? I mean, can you see a situation like that, Norman, for a sports writer back when you worked for the Post or the National or something like that, and you see the tweet about Jason and sitting down to write a story with a certain sports writer of the past that you idolized, or did you have someone in mind?
Yeah, actually, I wrote a letter to Robert Lipsyte, who had written a book
Raise 26.
called Sports World. And he's a long time. He worked for the New York Times. Robert's still around. He was an ESPN ombudsman for a couple of years, but he was a great sports writer. And the Sports World book was way ahead of its time. And when I created some term I used, I think I used Sports Nation, which ESPN then started using. I refer to Sports Nation. I was borrowing that from his Sports World, which is like a different world than the rest of America. Just the way things work in sports. So I wrote him a letter thanking him for, I said, yeah, I've
That's 26, correct?
essentially almost plagiarized you with saying Sports Nation from Sports World. Sports World was ahead of the time, a book he wrote probably in the 1970s.
Was it a style that you were adopting or just found yourself falling into similar to his at all?
No,
or?
it was nothing similar. Actually, you know, he was very intellectual and a very good writer. I'm more of like the guy sitting at the end of the bar just showing, you know, what the heck was that? And that's stupid. No, that's more stupid. And that's so stupid I'm leaving. So it wasn't his style, but he was really smart about sports in society and the excesses of sports in the sports world.
I can hear you echoing that in your columns through the years.
4 players.
And the column that you received some heat for, I actually really enjoyed. It's the last nice thing I'll say to you today.
I'm sure it's actually the last column I ended up writing. So it actually took me out of the business.
It was good. It was well written.
But
I liked it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's. I just always think we need to have a little more perspective with our games.
That's 65.
And we never have.
65.
So Doyle ended up defending a somewhat hopeless queen 4 off in the big blind. He's going to get a little bit punished for it, as I don't think you can fold on this flop, and he's up against top set. Crisostomo just flatted the queens. No 3-bet pre-flop.
Fresh off a double up. Then you get queens. Then you flop a queen. Things are good.
Yep, and Eshel has the pre-flop raisers taking a stab at this. He does have backdoor nut spades and second pair.
Call.
Can't really expect to be up against top set that didn't 3-bet. You'd expect queens to be 3-betting, so Eshel may run into a little bit of a problem if his hand improves.
Doyle's going to come along.
Thank you. 3 players. Check.
Against 2 opponents, you have to know that Jack's a pretty scary card. With 2 colors, you expect to be against a queen pretty often as well.
It's going to push him off the hand.
Doyle top pair, but the weak kicker can get away from this.
I think he's not going to need it.
That'll do it.
So
It's a rush for Crisostomo.
He did cash at the main event 4 years ago, 876th.
He's got over 400,000 in live tournament winnings. Not here at the World Series, but he moves around and knows how to build a stack. Well done. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here. Day 2A, B, D. Lon McCarron, Norman Chad, Jamie Kerstetter. And I think we're supposed to chop it up. I'm going to take the 2A, and you take the 2B, and Norman takes the 2D, folks, as we go through the day. Okay, whoever came
Perfect.
6,431. Over 6,000 entrants. How about that?
Well, we're pushing. We're going to push obviously over 6,500, and we're going to push closer to the closer to 7,000 that most people seem to think would happen.
So registration for playing the day one today is
really good buddies.
over.
Yeah, we hang out a lot.
But you can register today for tomorrow's day two, up through the first 2 levels of day 2 to get into that day 2.
If I dress in a pirate costume and I don't look like myself, do you think they'll let me register again for day 2?
Man, you could just, that's a great idea.
Actually, Jamie, why don't you check? You might be able to register for day 3 or 4. Things are fast changing here.
Something like that, yeah.
Ari Krishumi with the ace-king off. Hold it to Doyle. And Doyle Brunson on the button with king 10 of hearts.
11,100.
Fun, everybody's laid back. Kind of the same crew every
He's going to run into it here, but I do like this decision. From the small blind, you're not going to be flatting all that much. King 10 suited is a pretty good hand to mix in some 3-bets with. We see Krishumi actually has ace-king, and
11-1.
he may flat. It's such a big 3-bet. They're both fairly deep, so I think the standard option would be to 4-bet to somewhere around 25K.
You enjoy living in the Philippines?
Maybe a little bit more. It's a little scary once you do that, and then Brunson wants to put in more chips because your ace-king kind of shrinks a little bit. And so he does just make the call. In position with ace-king, not so bad.
It felt huge to me.
Crowded.
Doyle completely whiffs this flop. But having 3-bet free, you're going to take a stab at it sometimes.
You know, the population of the Philippines is over 100 million.
Bet 16,000.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Doyle still representing.
No, that's because
Daniel White announced the bet of 16,000.
But three major items.
Krishumi with 2 overs and the nut, the ace of clubs in his hand for backdoor nut flush draw.
Beautiful.
Probably enough to stick around.
Some of the best.
Shakes his head with a call. Doyle picked up on that.
Yeah. I know it looks like untainted, right? It's just like
Worst card for Doyle Brunson.
Definitely bad luck for Dolly here. He thinks he's making the best hand. He's actually drawing to 5%.
100 million and 40 million lives in Metro Manila.
Oh my God.
Do you bet this?
Seriously.
That's crazy.
I think I may check back.
It's got to be what? One of the most
You can get another street of value out of Doyle on the river.
Check.
You're not afraid of the clubs as you have the nut club in your hand. And wow.
there is that club. Doyle with no club may allow him to get away from this.
Okay, having the pair of kings, he doesn't need to bluff at this. He's throwing out a little block size bet, just a teeny little bet.
Yeah.
Less than 20% pot.
He seems like a hard ass. He's like a kind
When
of
Krishumi raises, Brunson can just fold and feel good about it.
oh yeah, is he? Checks out.
Bad timing for Doyle
It's
Brunson.
never wrong.
Yeah.
But
Seems like a lot of guys like that get in power.
Doesn't matter if Doyle has a club or not. To Krishumi.
Raise
people
26,000.
think somebody's
This hand
talking
is
for them
over.
or representing them.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
See, we don't have any voice. The most we can do is vote somebody that's gonna say these
Doyle,
things. Or
that's
do these things.
86K behind.
Yeah.
With a fold.
That's why
Yeah,
I
he's
left.
thinking about calling. He's getting a really good price, but you have to think about why you're getting a really good price.
Then I made here when I came here, and everybody was
His opponent's milking him for another 16K.
And you're gonna be a second-class citizen in the US. I said I want a better opportunity for my kids, and I cannot be living in fear every day.
Do you feel like a second-class citizen here?
At the beginning,
Ooh, he does make the call and sees the nuts.
Because of financial?
Doyle may have assumed that Krishumi would continue through the turn with another bet if he had a club in his hand. It's just this specific hand he didn't need to because he had a pair and a club.
yeah, a lot of